Bib number 3 already on the start, Francisco Merz, the representative of the ski club in Bad Mitterndorf, trying to challenge his teammate Lukas Hagen, currently in the lead with 94.5 meters, 90.5 for Francisco. And we continue with the Austrian pack at the early stage of this first round. Stefan Reiner up next. Won 2 FIS Cup competitions this season already. One in Schirk during the summer and recently also in Klingenthal. And he's giving us a good taste of his talents. 96.5 meters compared to the women's competition earlier this morning. Slightly more tailwinds in average, so we expect that to continue throughout this round as the sun is setting down, but overall we can say it's been a fairly decent day for ski jumping this Saturday. Up next, Johannes Pölz. He was the athlete who won the other FIS Cup competition in Klingenthal, obviously on a much bigger hill, and these suit him truly better than this one here in Eisenerz. Currently 5th position only for Johannes. As we now say welcome back, Philipp Aschenwald, 30 months after his crash in the training and also severe injury. He has made it back to the international circuit. And he's doing really, really well. Wow, what a jump from Philipp Aschenwald. 99 meters, setting the benchmark for his opponents coming up right now. And taking over the lead from Stefan Reiner. We move over to the international competitors. The first one of them is Julien Gay from France. Waiting for his first Continental Cup points this season. It's difficult to predict if that sort of jump is going to be enough to qualify for the second round today. 87 meters for Julien, the 21-year-old. So we have 54 competitors on the start, which also means that a fair chunk of them, almost half of them, will be forced to watch the second rounds. Francesco Cecon. One of the best jumps we saw from him in course of the season. 100 meters, the first one to reach that sort of distance, but you can also see he's getting only 1.3 points of wind compensation, which also means that this currently is only good enough for third position, which surely is giving him a good position to start from in the second round. Moving over to Sindre Ylven Jørgensen, the first Norwegian. And he's pretty close to the distance to beat. You can see on the top, 102.5 meters were needed. He's jumping 101 and is also getting deduction when it comes to the wind points, but also fairly decent style points, which means he is in third place at the moment. Pretty close race at the top. The first 4 athletes within just 4.1 points. Here we see the first Swiss athlete, Marius Sieber, Has been competing in both FIS Cup and Continental Cup this season. Still waiting for a points result in either of them. Once finished in the COC points in his career, that was in Sapporo 2024. So fingers crossed he will add another entry to that list. Yeah, that's a pretty solid jump from Marius, the 21-year-old. 96 meters. But as he's only one of two athletes getting minus points from the win calculation, this puts him down to 7th place. With number 11, Thomas Kinnunen. First time that he's competing here in Eisenerz, the 20-year-old from Lahti. But he seems to be establishing a friendship with this ski jump here, which is not the easiest one. 98 meters, so exactly the K-point distance for Tuomas. Which means that he is being ranked on place 6. You can see it on the left. Jakob Steinberger has been disqualified, and also the insert on top. The suit didn't make it through the air permeability check, as we see the jump of Jakob Wolny with 95.5 meters. The experienced Polish ski jumper, but is only good enough for rank number 8 at the moment. Maximilian Gardner, the second Italian, he being from Castelrotto, representative of the ski club in Val Gardena. Was also taking part in the qualification at the Forage tournament in Innsbruck and also Bischofshofen, twice finishing 60th, so still in the development phase, the Italian currently taking over 12th position. Henri Kavilo from Finland, more specifically from Kuopio. Scored his best Continental Cup results during the summer in Stams, actually, in our classic December stop. Oh, and there he lost his skis. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. It looks like the binding opened with the impact at the landing, and that obviously cost him quite a bit. Harsh deduction from the judges, but I think he should be okay. Nevertheless, obviously, not a nice experience. And that was a very unlucky incident for him. The jump wasn't too bad, actually, with these 92.5 meters was okay, but yeah, those style point deductions relegated him down to 13th position at the moment. But we're happy to continue with the next athlete, which is Matija Vidic, one of quite a few representative of SSK Ilirija, ski club in Slovenia's capital, Ljubljana. Yeah, the club pretty famous for developing great ski jumping talents. 95.5 meters for Matija. He's been one of the fastest in the in-run track. Yeah, speed is definitely a good essential to gain a distance also on this particular ski jump here in Eisenerz. Next up, his teammate Jene Presečnik, also from Slovenia, obviously. Making his only second jump of the day, as he did not participate in the first, or in the only training run, I should say. Also his first appearance in Continental Cup here in Eisenerz, 96.5 meters. Very close to his teammates. 8th place at the moment for Jerne. Another Polish athlete coming up, Łukaszczyk. Yeah, struggling to reach the distance he was hoping for. With only 91 meters, even behind his teammate Jakob Wolny. So the way into the top 30 positions, which bring you to the final rounds, might be too long for him. Nick Gostisha Lach. Third Slovenian in this round, the second one from Illyria. 94.5 meters for Nick. Quite a bit behind his teammates. Moving over to Kazakhstan, the only athlete representing this country, Daniil Kalinkin. 18 years of age only. In his first COC appearance today, 81 meters for his debut. Had a good FIS Cup in Klingenthal most recently with 15th and 21st place. But today the workday seems to be over after just this one round. Adrian Thon Gundersrud. Next, Norwegian. Aha, there we go. After a rather calm period with these last jumpers, we now see the third athlete to jump over 100 meters, 101.5 for Adrian, which puts him into the lead. So the first athlete to score more points than Philipp Aschenwald, who was still in the leads up until now. But nice jump from Adrian to change that as we move over to Timi Heiskanen from Finland. Yeah, pretty even in terms of the distance to his teammate Kavilo. The biggest difference obviously is he didn't lose his ski. 93.5 meters for Timi and 9th place at the moment. Henri Repelin from France, representative of the sports club in Chamonix, the first Olympic host town in 1924. So big heritage they have there. Also obviously inspiring guys like him to start with the sport. This long tradition they have there. 89.5 meters for Ari. 16th for now. Sawyer Graves from the United States of America. His first Continental Cup appearance outside of his home country. Last season present at the quadruple of competitions in Iron Mountain. Now with 90.5 meters. So familiar face even from the World Cup. Martin Hamann made the progress back to the German Continental Cup team after 9th and 10th place at the FIS Cup in Klingenthal 2 weeks ago. Yeah, quite an okay jump considering how his season has been up until now, because the two results I've mentioned were his first one in the FIS Cup points even. Currently 13th position after 95 meters. Benedikt Holub from Czechia. First athlete here on the start list who already scored Continental Cup points this season with 29th place in Engelberg. But I'm afraid these will remain his only points for now. 85.5 meters for Benedikt. 20 seconds. So we will get to know the first names that advance into the final round from now on. Coming up, the next representative from Czechia, Filip Krženik. Also struggling to get over the 80 meters distance, even 85 meters, yeah. 21st place. It's fairly noticeable that also these guys are trying to get friends with this hill. Obviously, it's quite a big normal hill, and also pretty modern one, but it has this nasty bump just right in the radius before the takeoff, which doesn't make it easy to maintain the in-run position. So that also explains why some of them are really, really struggling. 95.5 meters for Enzo Milesi from France. 12th place at the moment. He will have to wait if this is going to be enough. Maxim Bartol. Trying to make every meter possible out of this jump. 96.5 meters. Close to 0 points for the calculation, but this is already a good value when it comes to that, so that also explains why he's currently ranked 14th. For Canada, Tarek Van Wieren. Still only 18 years of age, that's never to forget. 89.5 meters for Tarek, who was part of the mixed team that scored an 8th place and therefore World Cup points at the opener in Lillehammer, so he doesn't need to worry about his World Cup license. Same goes also for Yuri Krisili, who even scored World Cup points in individual competitions, but was not part of the Swiss squad that went to the Ski Flying World Championships in Oberstdorf and therefore competes here. But he shows that you can also fly at least a tiny bit on this particular hill here in Eisenerz. 102 meters. Very good jump for Yuri. Getting literally 0 compensation points. And puts himself into 2nd position behind Güntersrud, who is still in the lead. Next up is Alessandro Batbi for France. His distance 92.5 meters. And we're seeing the next disqualification of whip number 15, which is Matija Vidic, the Slovenian, for the same reason as Jakob Steinberger earlier. The air permeability in the suit was not as requested from the rules, as we already see Yannick Feist for Germany. Yeah, that's quite tight, around the 95 meters, close to the K-point line. But look at that, he gets 9.2 points for the wind compensation, which immediately lifts him a bit higher up in the result list. 7th place and already the confirmed participation in the final rounds. Bib number 33, Daniel Skarka from Czechia, is not on the start. He also didn't compete in the training or the trial rounds, so we move over to Bryce Klotz for the United States of America. Yeah, but just like in the women's competition earlier, I'm afraid we won't see any Americans in the final rounds. 87 meters, probably not enough for Bryce. Adrian Tittel for Germany. Yeah, also quite a tall jumper, and we could already notice that these guys are especially struggling with this bump in the in-run I've mentioned. 92.5 meters for Adrian. Probably the wind compensation might be a savior for him. Currently 14th, but he is the third name on the waiting list in order to advance into the second round. Remo Imhoff participated in Oberstdorf in the official training, but then wasn't selected for the Swiss squad to take part in the qualification for the individual, so he went over here. .95.5 meters for Remo, but he has had the worst conditions so far and therefore gets lots of plus points for the wind competition and actually is on 4th place together with Stefan Reiner. Jarosław Krzak for Poland, hoping to become the first Pole that advances into the second round, but probably not with this jump, unfortunately. 86 meters. And when the jump wasn't already too well, also the conditions weren't. But that gives Francisco Mert the possibility to have a second attempt today. Lauro Kos had the best period of the season already in the Summer Grand Prix with 3 finishes inside the top 10, but wasn't able to maintain that into the winter, and also that jump not satisfying at all for Lauro. 89.5 meters only, and same point as I've mentioned for Krzak earlier. Also the conditions pretty terrible for him. So Enzo Bielesi up into the final rounds, and here comes the next Pole, Adam Nizhnik. Won 2 competitions in the FIS Cup this season in Ljubno and Villach, adding another second place in Ljubno to that tally. First time that he is competing here at COC in Eisenerz. But also this center, quite a popular one for training also in the winter times, because you have very stable conditions when it comes to snow. But far from stable currently the wind conditions. He is actually the first athlete which sees the red lights and therefore has to leave the gate for now. Yeah, like I said earlier, it's a pretty common thing the longer the day lasts, and especially until the sun went down. In the end, there's a fair chunk of tailwind. So he has to be a bit patient for now. As we can see, still a close race. The first 7 athletes within 10 points, so there's 5 meters on this hill, as 1 meter is worth 2 points. And especially rank 2 to 6 are very, very close together. At the moment, the cut to reach the final is on 14th place, so Enzo Milesi did advance. Adrian Tittel, with only 0.1 points behind him, is the first one that is waiting. The guys on the left-hand side, you can see with the yellow bib, those are the 4 jumpers, which are also obviously required to carry out the competition. We might need one of them in just a minute. At least he's getting prepared for good reason. Yeah, that break tends to be a bit longer than expected before, but obviously that's part of ski jumping being an outdoor sport. But hopefully the second attempt will be the one for Nizhnik. At least the distance to beat, you can see on the top right of your screen, has increased by quite a fair bit, so the direction of the wind has also changed, not only the speeds. At the moment it's even too much headwind. You can also see it in the background, the trees moving a bit. This is the first time that actually happens in course of this day, which was rather calm until now. And after 60 seconds, it's red light again for Adam Nizhnik, the 23-year-old from ski club Wisła Zakopane. Was part of the Polish national group at their home World Cup in Wisła in December, but twice didn't make it through the qualification. Other than that, frequent competitor in the Continental Cup this season, also scoring his best Continental Cup results of his career with 12th place in Zhangjiakou in China on the large hill, and also in Stams in September. Naturally, he won't be too sad about the fact that 4 jumper will now be sent down to the outrun, so that Adam himself can re-prepare and get ready for hopefully the 3rd and successful time. So let's see if even the child jumper gets the green light and the chance to go down here. But actually he does, so that's already a good sign. Just a short period. We have to wait until we hopefully can continue with this competition. And now after the red phase is over, Adam Nischnik can reclaim the place on the bench. So, third time is the lucky one for him. Let's see how he does in these slightly improved conditions compared to earlier. Slightly below the K-points line, 94 meters for Adam. But that's surely good news for the Polish team that he is the first athlete who advances into the second round from their team. Konstantin Schmid. One podium finish in the Continental Cup this season, actually this summer, in Hinterzarten, a hill which is not that different from this one. But unfortunately his jump was a bit different from the form he has shown during the summer. 93 meters, but double digits when it comes to the plus point in the compensation, so he advances into the second round. Raphael Zimmermann for Austria, 22 years of age. One podium finish in the Continental Cup and FIS Cup each this season, both in summer. Second place in the COC in Stams and another second place in Villach for Raphael. Jumping for the Nordic team Absam, which is basically the ski club for beginners near Innsbruck. So if you live in that area and want to start ski jumping, choosing Absam as the place to begin is definitely a wise decision, as Raphael has to leave the bench. Had good experiences on this particular ski jump here. Last winter he won one FIS Cup competition and finished fourth in the other one. Now has to be patient as the tailwind increases a tiny bit. If we look on the Austrian results as of now, Philipp Aschenwald still the best one of them on third place, but only 0.2 points ahead of Stefan Reiner. Also Lukas Hagen qualified for the second round, as well as Francisco Merz. So the jury has decided, due to the upcoming tailwinds, to raise the gates from 19 to 20. Which means that Raphael Zimmermann is going to be the first athlete who gets minus points. In the gates compensation. But that obviously also helps to adjust the wind corridor and hopefully regain the smooth rhythm we have had in this competition until now. ...94 meters for Raphael Zimmermann. And that's only good enough for P22 at the moment, so that means Adrian Tittel has now advanced into the second round. And here comes Gorazd Završnik for Slovenia. ...96.5 meters for Gorazd. Even a club colleague of Jerne Prezečnik from Ljubno. But as he only gets 0.5 points in total as a compensation, he's only on P22, so Jakub Wolny has made it into the second round eventually. Hannes Landerer probably doesn't need to worry about it with this very nice jump on 100.5 meters. And that's actually good enough for second place as of now. So Landerer now the new leader within the Austrian team, but the next of the home heroes is already coming up with Julian Smid. Yeah, his reaction says a lot. Not satisfied about this performance. Not quite on the level as his teammates. 10 meters shorter even. 91.5 meters. Only ranked 27. That's surely not good enough for the second round, unfortunately. Klemens Joniak for Poland. Unfortunately, we're experiencing slight dropouts, but that must have been a good jump with these 100 meters, so apologies for the frame freezes, but we can conclude Joniak currently on third position as Niklas Bachlinger is already underway. Not quite able to maintain the height over the knoll he had in the early stage of his flight. 96.5 meters for Niklas, who has had a remarkable summer season, but also due to illness and minor health issues didn't transfer this form into the winter. But as we can see that all qualified athletes for the second round are within 18 points. There's everything to play for in the second round. If you catch the dose of luck, which is also a bit necessary on this day, you can still score a very, very decent result after all, as we are waiting for Jørgen Oliver Strøm, the next Norwegian and younger brother of Anna Odine Strøm. Scored a podium today at the Women's World Cup in Sapporo, but Jørgen Oliver forced to sit on the bench for now. His teammate Adrian Thon Gündersrud still in front. We're curious to see if there's anyone that is even able to take that spot away from him. So, second try now for Ström. The wind has calmed down at least a bit, so fingers crossed that he can perform his jump now, and so it is. And actually the wind isn't that bad for him, so let's see if he can use that actually. Yeah, fairly decent. But he's getting minus points in total for the compensation. 100 meters exactly for him. That puts him onto 10th position. The third best Norwegian, as Sindre Ulven Jørgensen is still in 8th place at the moment. Moving over to Luca Roth, our two-time winner from Zhangjiakou. And sadly, the camera has missed the best, or I should say the longest jump of the competition so far. 103.5 meters for Luca Roth. And he was so close to challenging Gündersrud, but it's second place for him, 0.4 points behind the Norwegian. Clemens Leitner, the jury now trying to finish this first round as quickly as possible. So Clemens already making his way down the hill, and that was probably even longer than Roth's jump. Exactly 1 meter, 104.5. So we have a new leader with Clemens Leitner of Austria, also getting the best style points overall with 55 in total. So that's a thoroughly deserved lead for the Austrian. The last 5 athletes coming up right now. The first one of them, Ben Bayer for Germany. And also here, attacking the distance of 100 meters, 101 exactly. Also decent style points for him. But the plus points for the wind don't make up for the minus points he got for the gates compensation. So that means he is currently in 11th position, but still only 11.6 points behind the leader. As we move over to Fredrik Willemstad for Norway. Currently 2 of his teammates in the top 10. ...100 meters for Fredrik. Who managed to win a quarter spot for the World Cup for Norway a couple of times. Today he still needs to fight for that with 12th place at the moment. But there's also still his teammates. Robin Pedersen. But he is actually providing what I was expecting before, that this is not the type of hill he likes. Only 94.5 meters for Robin. 29th position at the moment, so that's bad news for him. On the other side, good news for Martin Hamann, who makes it into the second round because of Pedersen's results. And here is Sølve Jøkerud Strand. And apologies for that, but we missed once again the longest jump of the competition. 105 meters for Strand. And these are giving him the lead. 1.2 points ahead of Clemens Leitner. So overall, a very strong performance from the Norwegians as we see the current leader in the Continental Cup standings. Clemens Leitner making the final jump of this first round. And what a beauty that is! Look at that! 106.5 meters, and also the judges loved this attempt. 4 times 19 style points, well deserved for Clemens, and that is the intermediate lead for him. 2.5 points ahead of Strand and only 3.7 ahead of Leitner. So that was a really interesting and especially tight first round. If we see how close all those athletes are together, so that promises lots of tension and excitement for the second round as we scroll through the current standings. Clemens Eigner leading ahead of Sölve Jokerud Strand and Clemens Leitner, with Adrian Thon-Gundesrud, another Norwegian, inside the top 10. Best German currently, Luca Roth on 5th place. Best Polish athlete, Clemens Joniak on P7, ahead of the best Swissman, Juri Kessely, on P8. Let's see who else we got. Francesco Ciccon, the best Italian, on rank number 15. We also will see Finland in the second round, represented by Tuomas Kinnunen and Timi Heiskanen, as well as France with Enzo Vilesi, and not to forget about Slovenia, Janis Presečnik on P22 and Maxim Bartol on P29. Martin Hamann received the last ticket for the final round, so he will be opening this one in just a couple of minutes. And we have got 2 disqualifications for Mattia Vidic and Jakob Steinberger, both because of the lack of suit permeability in their jumping suits, and Daniel Skarka, who was not on the start. So in the women's competition earlier, we had a break of roughly 17 minutes. We are expecting to be having the same for this competition. And then we will see how many things actually can change in this tight field. The athletes that qualified for this final round are within 25.6 points. So lots of things can change and evolve in the second round. And we will be back for that just a couple of minutes ahead of the start.
Ja, leider, wie gesagt, der Steinberger Jagd disqualifiziert. Hagen Mochi haben wir noch am Start. Stefan Reiner, Philipp Aschenwald, Hannes Landerer, sehr gut platziert, noch besser Emil Leitner als Dritter noch im ersten Durchgang und eben der Halbzeitführende Emil Leitner. Also es wird spannend. Die Abstände bis zum 5 platzierten Luca Roth, 7,7 Punkte. Also da ist noch einiges drinnen im zweiten Durchgang. Freuen wir uns auf einen spannenden Finaldurchgang. Hoffen wir, dass der Wind noch mitspielt, damit wir alle 30 relativ zügig, fair und sicher durchbringen. Ja, wie gesagt, Startzeit um 15:05 Uhr. Final round, 3.5 p.m. Als ersten Ringer kann man dann den deutschen Martin Hamann sehen. Er wird jetzt dann öffnen. Nochmal, wie gesagt, Information, der geänderte Zeitplan für morgen, 8:30 Uhr, erster Wertungsdurchgang der Damen und um 10:30 Uhr dann gleich Wertungsdurchgang für die Herren. Also kein Probedurchgang morgen aufgrund der Wettervorhersage werden wir dann morgen reinstarten mit den Damen um 8:30 Uhr und die Herren dann um 10:30 Uhr.
Welcome back, everyone. Just a couple of minutes ahead of the start of this final round here at the first of two competitions in the FIS Continental Cup in Eisenerz. We are preparing for what promises to be an exciting second round. So much to play for, so little gaps all over the fields So we can't wait to see who will come out on top in the result list. We started the competition earlier this afternoon with 54 competitors representing 13 different nations, and are now down to 30 competitors from 9. And this is the start list for the final round. You can also already see it on the first page here. You don't need a lot in order to climb up the order by quite a bit. This goes through the entire midfield up until the top. Halftime leader is Clemens Eigner, 2.5 points ahead of Sylve Jokerud Strand, with Clemens Leitner currently sitting in 3rd place. Athletes are getting prepared for this final round, which will be opened by Martin Hamann of Germany. So at least a small reward for him after good results he scored in the FIS Cup in our 3rd league. And even here has less than 5 points in order to climb up 10 positions. So there could be quite a few position changes within these 30 remaining athletes in the 2nd round. The jury has opted for start gates number 20, which promises to be a good decision after seeing how the conditions developed in the 1st round. So, Martin Hamann, the 28-year-old representative of Nickelhütte Aue, will open this 2nd round here in Eisenerz. 99.5 meters, the first distance in this second round, and this could be one of those jumps where you can actually make up quite a few places in course of this final. Much better execution in the jump itself compared to the first one. So let's see how much this jump is actually worth, as Maxim Bartol scored a distance of 96.5 meters. Jakub Wolny relegated to third place with 91 meters. And Adrian Tittel with 94 meters. Taking over that third spot, as we currently see Enzo Bilesi for France. Close to the K-point distance. Challenging Hamann for the lead with 95.5 meters. And by 0.4 points he takes the lead. So well done to Ari, as we expect to see the jump of Francisco Mert, and apologies for the dropouts and the buffering issues we've had with the stream. Hopefully it will be back now. And Francisco a bit deep in the landing, so if the judges notice that, they will give him some deductions for that, and they did in fact see it. 97.5 meters, but thanks to the wind compensation, Mertz stays in the lead. Niklas Bachlinger surely hoped to be on the start much later than he is right now, but he is aiming for an improvement in his jump and also in terms of the position, but unfortunately that's not working out for Niklas. He was really on top of his game during the summer period, and now he struggles visibly. 95 meters, fourth place at the moment for him. Adam Nischnik, the unluckiest guy in the first round, at least when it came to the wind conditions. Twice he had to move off the bar, so he will be delighted that this went much quicker, but unfortunately his jump not on the same level as the previous one. 92 meters for Adam relegates him down to 5th place for now, as we are slowly closing out the first 10 in this final rounds. Next up is Jarnej Przecznik. Surely also preferring the larger hills here, but yeah, that was a fairly decent jump. 97.5 meters for Jarnej, and he becomes our new leader at the moment. So, as I've promised before, there is plenty of movement within the positions. Martin Hamann already gained 5 spots. Adam Nischnik, on the other hand, lost 4 of them. So, this might continue exactly like that, as we see the jump of Timi Heiskanen. Won't be able to maintain the position he had after the first round. 94 meters for Timi. And that even moves him down by 7 positions. Only 8 at the moment. And up next is Konstantin Schmid. Usually very, very strong when it comes to the takeoff. Will he be able to use that on this hill, which is not the easiest one, certainly. Yeah, but that's more of what he likes to do. 99 meters for Konstantin Schmid. But because Brezečnik had plenty of more plus points in the wind compensation, he maintains the first spot, with Schmid being ranked second. Tuomas Kinnunen up next. Happy day for him. First time that he is going to score Continental Cup points. His previous best result in this category was a 41st place in Ruka this season. So that's a promising step for the 20-year-old from Lahti. And he is able to confirm his decent first jump with this attempt on 99.5 meters. And also confirming his position. So it will be a top 20 finish for Kinnunen. A great success for the Finn, as we now awaits the jump of Lukas Hagen. Even a bit younger than Kinnunen and already made his way down the hill with 105 meters. The longest jump by far in the second round, putting himself 14.5 points ahead of Kinnunen. And with this jump, he surely will be able to climb up high the order. Yannick Feist already in the air, very close to the K points of 98 meters, 97.5 meters for Yannick, representative from the ski club in Bayersbronn, who has brought up so many promising talents, even with the same surname, obviously. They are doing a stellar job when it comes to developing young talents. Here comes Jürgen Oliver Ström, a native from Alta, the place where the legendary Björn Vikola was from. So, also that town has some ski jumping DNA, and if you're from the Ström family, you do as well. And he's able to prove that with this jump. Good job in the final rounds. Obviously, it's a tough challenge to beat Lukas Hagen, but with 103 meters, Jürgen Oliver Ström should also be able to gain a couple of positions. Up next, Francesco Ceccon. Did attend quite a few World Cup competitions, but never worked out with points for him, so he is hoping for a confidence boost here in the Continental Cup. And that could work with these 103 meters. But Hagen still maintains the lead. And all eyes on the leads will now also Fredrik Willemstad be having. But is it going to be enough? That's the question. Probably not. 100 meters. That's a fair chunk behind what the to beat line was telling us. And he drops to 4th place. Here comes Ben Bayer. Two-time podium finisher this season. Second in Zhangjiakou and third in Sapporo recently. Oh, that's a beauty! What a nice jump from Ben Bayer. Equaling the distance of Lukas Hagen with 105 meters. And these make him take the lead. And you obviously still need to jump as far as Ben Bayer did. Also, when you are Sindre Ulven Jürgensen. But that jump was on 95 meters, so he will surely lose a couple of places. That's unfortunate for him. 7th place for Sindre, which means that Jørgen Oliver Strøm currently is the best Norwegian with Sølve Jokerud Strand still up to come. Stefan Reiner challenging for the lead with his jump on 100 meters. But he is not even best Austrian currently. That will remain to Lukas Hagen, still in second position as we are waiting for Remo Imhoff. The first of two Swiss athletes that made it into this second round. But you really need to be on top of your game in this second round. Otherwise, you will lose out by quite a fair chunk. 92.5 meters for Remo. That's surely not satisfying for him. Moves him down to 8th position at the moment. And now I'm really curious to see if Philipp Aschenwald will be able to maintain this great position after the first rounds. Currently sitting in ninth. That would be quite a fairy tale comeback. You get to jump in the national group, sort of in the COC, and then immediately jump into the top 10. This is basically everything you need to know about the depth and the strength of the Austrian team, but he seems to be able to do that. Wow, that's a really impressive performance by Philipp Aschenwald. Two really, really strong jumps for him. And he's currently in 3rd place, so we still can hope for a top 10 result, but even finishing just outside of that is a really, really cool achievement for him. Well done to him. And the Swiss hopes do all rely on Yuri Kesseli, who is waiting for the green light, but the headwinds even increases, as you can see by the distance to beat on the top right corner. And possibly he is going to be the first athlete in this final round that will not be allowed to start in his first attempt as the clock is ticking towards the 60 seconds. And that's exactly how he ends up. If he knew how good the conditions were, he surely would be quite relaxed. But considering how low the wind speeds actually are, it's not even sure that he actually feels from which direction the wind is even coming from. He just now needs to maintain the focus. Get ready for the second try, but it's might be an option to change the in-run length also in this round. Bit of uncertainty at the moment. Maybe didn't get a clear signal of what to expect now. But we can still see that the distance to beat is still at around 110 meters, which is too much for the current corridor, which has been set. Well, that's a fair solution to send a trial jumper down ahead of him. Still 8 athletes to go in this final round, with Kresseli being the only Swissman. Then we also have a single Pole with Clemens Joniak, a single German with Luca Roth, 3 Austrians with Hannes Landerer, Clemens Leitner and Clemens Eigner, and 2 Norwegians with Adrian Thon Gundersrud and Sølve Jokerud Strand. So we've got the 4 jumper down, which is already a good sign. And also the distance to beat has decreased, so we are hopeful to see Kresseli going down the hill. And as soon as I said that, the distance to beat increased again. So it might be still a waiting game for him. Half of the yellow phase already passed, so we're getting closer and closer to the 60-second. 15 left. This is not an easy situation for him. He probably is even wondering what is going on here. I don't feel anything, but now he has to go out for a second time. We need something like 105, 106 meters in order to continue with the competition. But this time around he has more luck. So, green light and good conditions for Juri Kresseli. And he's done a good job. Considering the circumstances, he has done a really, really good job with this jump on 101 meters. He was staying in the focus, nevertheless being dropped to 4th place. Still in the lead, Ben Bayer ahead of Lukas Hagen and Philipp Aschenwald. As here comes Clemens Joniak. And also he attacks maybe not the lead, but the 100 meters distance, at least 102 for Clemens, giving him third position for now. Hannes Landerer, the next challenger of Ben Bayer, who's still in first place and surely will also stay there as Landerer reaches a distance of 100.5 meters. And he's being dropped to 5th place, the Austrian. And now we possibly could even see a German double lead with Luca Roth sitting on the bench. The top 5 athletes are coming up right now after the first round. And look at the heights Roth has got. Oh, what a nice jump. Luca Roth setting the best distance in this competition with 106.5 meters. And also a very good landing, receiving 4 times 18 points. And he in fact made it a German double lead. Luca Roth ahead of Ben Bayer and Lukas Hagen, who has climbed up 11 positions in total. And Roth's jump already a possible challenger to reach a podium spot. He was only 4 points behind Clemens Leitner, who is sitting in 3rd place after the first round. And only 0.4 points behind Adrian Thon Gundersrud, who is now sitting on the bar and waiting for the green lights. But also for him it's not easy. He's still waiting. 5 seconds left. 4, 3, 2, 1, and there is the red light. That's very unfortunate for him. Such an important moment in his competition, and the wind is not playing along for Adrian, who scored 1 podium in the Continental Cup in his career with a 2nd place in Bischofshofen in January 2025. First time that he's competing here in Eisenerz, and the hill and also the conditions don't make it too easy for him. We're still seeing the distance to beat at around 110 meters. This is definitely too much. He should have around 106 meters, considering the small gap that was between him and Roth after the first round. The jury is waiting for the tiny bit of headwind that is still there to calm down a bit, which is now hopefully the case. The distance to beat looks pretty good. That's exactly where it's supposed to be. So, let's see how Adrian Thon Gundersrud can compete with what Luca Roth has delivered in the previous jump. Not quite. You can really feel sorry for him. That was a difficult situation. 98.5 meters for the Norwegian. And this brings him to 3rd place as of now. So the German double lead remains. And here comes Clemens Leitner. 3rd place after the first round. So this is the jump that decides about who's going to take the first podium spot. Is it going to be a German with Luca Roth or an Austrian with Leitner himself? Oh, that's going to be a pretty close race between the pair of them. 102 meters, a good distance for Leitner. Again, also very good style points, but it's not enough. 0.8 points are missing for Leitner. Luca Roth maintains the lead and therefore lands on the podium here in Eisenerz today. But it's not over yet. Still 2 athletes to come. The first one of them, Sylve Jokerud Strand. The question is he even able to attack the leader, Clemens Eigner, or does he need to defend what Luca Roth has delivered previously? Whoa, that's close again. 101.5 meters for Sylve. Is it even going to be enough for a podium for him? No, it's not. Again, pretty close between Leitner and Strand, but Leitner has the upper hand by 1.2 points. And now the final jump of this competition, delivered by the man in yellow, Clemens Eigner, on course of a home victory here in Eisenerz. And that should be enough. Again, very strong when it comes to the style points, even a 19.5. Wow, would you believe that? 103.5 meters, and these are enough for Eigner to take the victory today here in Eisenerz. It's got pretty tense and interesting in the second round, but he has the advantage by 3.2 points over Luca Roth. So it's a double Austrian podium. Clemens Eigner ahead of Luca Roth and Clemens Leitner. And these 3 only within 4 points, which are 2 meters. It wasn't always easy at times, but that was a really interesting competition to watch. With lots of positioning changes in the second round. Most remarkably, Lukas Hagen, who climbed up from 18th spot to 7th. An incredible second round for Hagen. And also Ben Bayer made up quite a bit of ground in the second round, climbing up 8 positions. Also Roth, let's not forget about him. He was 5th after the first round and climbed up to 2nd. But Clemens Eigner, with 2 very strong jumps, claims the victory today here in Eisenerz, adding just another one to his long list. I mean, even in this season, he delivered one in Stams during the summer and recently also in Sapporo, and this also means he obviously extends his overall leads in the Continental Cup standings. As second placed Robin Petersen didn't score any points today, so he will certainly lose that spot. And tomorrow we will also get to see who is winning the additional World Cup quota for the next period, as this competition is the last one in this current period. And speaking of tomorrow, just to let you know in advance, the competition has been rescheduled as the weather forecast is not looking too well. So we already start at 10:30 a.m. Central European time with the men, and 2 hours earlier, so at 8:30 the women's competition will be held here in the Erzberg Arena in Eisenerz, which has provided us with 2 very interesting competitions in relatively stable conditions on this Saturday. And here you can also see it on the insert at 8:30 LOC equals 8:30 CET. So it wasn't also always easy for us when it's comes to the stability of the stream, so apologies for the dropouts we experienced. But other than that, we hope you enjoyed our coverage and will be our guests tomorrow again, when we will be back with some more live ski jumping here from Eisenerz on this Continental Cup weekend. So for today, I would like to thank you all for tuning in, and hopefully see you again soon tomorrow, and also obviously enjoy the 3rd and 4th rounds at the FIS Ski Flying World Championships in Oberstdorf. That was it from me, Luis Holuch. Today I'm signing out. Have a nice rest of the Saturday, and see and hear you hopefully tomorrow again. Bye bye.